Only 6 races remain in the NASCAR Chase for the Cup Series 2005 edition. The race for the Nextel Cup Series Championship is better now than what it has been at any point so far this season. All 10 drivers realistically still have a shot of winning this championship in the final 6 races of the season. Only one will be able to bring it home. Another mile-and-a-half race here tonight for the second straight night. And not only that, it is our final night race of the season. It is the UAW GM Quality 500 at the Lowe's Motor Speedway, of course now known as the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Like, share, and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. If you are just tuning into this for the first time or just joining the stream here tonight live for the first time, we do realistic NASCAR commentary for both video games and real races on the race weekend. All the hopes of one day hopefully finding myself in a commentating booth down the road. Before we get this race underway here tonight, I will state that Jimmy Johnson, our driver for the season, did not qualify for tonight's race, so we will be starting at the rear of the field just like we did last night at Kansas. And we did race here earlier this season at the Coca-Cola 600, where Jimmy Johnson had brought it home with a second-place finish. We'll see what he can do here tonight. Jeff Gordon also won that race earlier this year. The point standings coming into tonight will also be on the left-hand side of your screen. Johnson is the points leader coming in by only 89 points over Dale Earnhardt Jr., and the top 5 are still within 131 points of each other, which also means that they are within 1 race of each other in points. It is going to be very, very tight. The top 6 within 200. Again, 190 points is the max amount of points you can score in a single race. That is what Johnson did with the win at Kansas last night by winning the race and leading the most laps. All right, that's enough rambling on now at the start. Hopefully you guys enjoy tonight's race. DB Forever 85, R6R6, Ashton G, Billy Kramer, Fur Express, welcome to the stream, and many others down into the chat below. 500 miles, 333 laps at NASCAR's home will continue. The chase for the Cup. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is on the pole and leads the field to the green. Jimmy Johnson with the Pride of America car for the second straight race and for the final time this season. Place where he actually ran this paint scheme and got the win in the Coca-Cola 600 this very season. 2 by 2 through the field. Johnson taking it pretty easy. He did pass Scott Wimmer on the opening lap, making 1 pass at least. A lot of traffic. He wants to have a much cleaner night tonight than what he had at Kansas last night, and this is an extra 100 miles, so he's going to have to keep the car as clean as possible, even more. And right as I say that, he gets very loose off the exit of turn 2, and both passes he made on both the 22 of Wimmer and the 151 car in front of him, he had to give up. That car got snappy loose off the exit of the corner. Kind of overcorrected it a bit. He did a great job getting out of the gas and making sure that he wasn't going to make contact with Kyle Petty, who was on his outside down the back straightaway. Brian Vickers, rookie now to the race lead. Dale Jr. was able to lead the first lap, so he was able to get 5 bonus points before losing the lead. Bergio again qualifying on the pole. Underneath the 151 car is Johnson. Bit of a checkup that time in the middle of 3 and 4. Johnson being extra cautious, checked up a little more. He'll get that spot back up again. Oh, and now we got trouble. Turn 1, car in the wall, a bunch of smoke. 1 car's down on the apron of the racetrack. Jimmy Johnson picks up about 9 positions down to the apron in turns 1 and 2. We stay green. Very, very close to having a big accident on lap 4 of 333. Not sure how that started, but it definitely stacked up quickly. Ryan Newman going to get to the lead at the front of the field, getting himself 5 bonus points now. That's the problem with starting at the back. You put yourself in a vulnerable situation, even if it's things that really you have no control over, like Johnson had no control there. Just making the instant reaction to cut down to the apron, back way out of the gas in turns 1 and 2. It worked out for him for the time being. Just made another pass in turns 3 and 4. On the other rookie driver, Johnny Sauter in the 30. pass on the 122. Big block by Ward Burton on the 178. You'd have to think that the Lowe's car is going to win at Lowe's Motor Speedway at some point this season. Johnson did win the All-Star race, but he did not win the Coca-Cola 600. And his teammate Gordon was the one who got the win that day. Johnson makes a nice pass on Casey Mears, future Coke 600 winner. Turns 1 and 2. Again, he's definitely gaining positions. He's being very patient early on, trying to keep control of the race car. Just trying to stay out of trouble at all costs. DNF at this stage of the season can cost you a championship no matter who you are, of the 10 drivers that are still competing for it. And even though Kurt Busch in 10th place is 282 points out, Bobby Labonte in 10th place is 282 points out coming into the night. Again, he still has a reasonable shot to win it, but he's going to have to go on a hot streak at the end of the season and get a little bit of help, but he doesn't need a whole lot of help as long as he just has really solid, consistent finishes. Barring something of that similar status happening for, say, points leader Jimmy Johnson. Earl Arnold Jr., John, welcome to the stream. Let's pass on Ward Burton in the 0. Burton's trying to get back around Johnson. Johnson's running really low down the back straightaway. Got to make sure the 0 doesn't try to cross him over. He's PJ1 instead of lotion, and now it's sticky. Welcome to the stream. That's a good one. That's a very racing-related username right there. I wouldn't even say racing-related. That's like a NASCAR-related one. Or Burton going to try the outside. Figuring Johnson's occupying that bottom lane down the straightaway. Didn't work out for him, though. He didn't get into turns 3 and 4 very well. Michael Turner, welcome to the stream. Oh, and they're wrecking again. Oh, big wreck. Brendan Gaughan made contact with the 174 car. And then Greg Biffle got ran into from behind pretty hard by Jimmy Johnson. So did the 174 car. And again, we stay green at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Johnson's all over the place right now trying to get his car back in rhythm into turn 3. Slides way up the racetrack. Mark Martin almost gets back by. Hopefully there's not too much damage on the front bumper of the 48. That was a pretty hard hit into the back bumper of the 16 car in front of him. It just happened so quick. The first time he was able to avoid it to the inside. That time, he had a bit of damage. I don't know how they didn't have another big pile up into turn 1. Johnson out of shape all over down the back straightaway. Johnson trying to top in 1 and 2. Not going to really get anything there. Hopefully didn't kill too much speed out of the race car. Getting into the back of the 16 already. Get to the inside of Greg Biffle and pass him into turn 3. Brendan Gaughan, who had a good source of that damage. Quite a bit of damage around the right rear corner panel for Gaughan. 174 car's got some damage around his left front. It was him and Gaughan that got into one another. Each of the last 2 races, we've had a decent amount of cautions in the beginning of the race, beginning to first third of the race. Speaking of that, we almost had it a couple times here tonight. Very fortunate that that wasn't the case. Everybody was able to drive on. Pass made on Ricky Craven. Johnson's up to 24th on lap 16. It only took him 20 laps to go from the rear to the front at Kansas. It's the most narrow of all the mile-and-a-halves on the circuit. Joshua Rumsey, welcome to the stream. Good thing he tested negative. Always a good sign. Loose is definitely fast if he can hang on to it. That is for certain. There's a difference between being too loose and being fast loose. Johnson's definitely fast loose. He just got a bit out of shape on his own. Again, it wasn't any practice for himself coming into this race, so that's probably what made it a bit harder on him. And now that we're about 19 laps in already, he's starting to get more and more comfortable with his own race car. It's a matter of trying to make sure he gets through traffic in front of him, making any significant contact. He's got a first chase driver of Kurt Busch in 19th right in front of him. Johnson moves to the inside down the back straightaway. He'll pass him into turns 3 and 4. There's Paul Menard in the 33. Everybody get hard for Menard down in the chat. Menard's going to get passed off turn 4 from Johnson for 18th. Derek Cope is in 16th place right now. What is this? Just past Sterling Marlin, and now he's going after Jeff Burton for 15th. Derek Cope has a rocket ship at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Derek Cope returning back to his 1990 self. A NASCAR chase for the Cup 2005. Jeff Burton, Sterling Marlin. He just passed Dale Jarrett, too. Cope is up to 14th. Now he's working on Terry Labonte and Matt Kenseth. Kenseth is one of the chase drivers. Kenseth's 6th in points, and he is getting passed by Derek Cope in 1 and 2. Johnson underneath Jarrett. Cope to the inside of Labonte. I'd say Derek Cope is the story of the early going of this race. Johnson almost got into the left rear. Kenseth with a big block to the inside with that low exit off turn 4. Johnson checked up and played it safe. He let him in. "12 top 10s, 1 top 5, and 12 races." It's like a Matt Kenseth 2003 type of consistency. Derek Cope just passed Vickers, who already led a lap today. Michael Waltrip, I think he's inside the top 10. Johnson to the inside of his teammate Vickers. Labonte just got around Waltrip. Johnson trying to do the same. Tony Stewart's moved his way through the field. He was back towards the rear with Johnson there for a little bit. Now Johnson's going to try the outside on his teammate Labonte. That was not a good idea. Johnson cracks the wall. Getting into turn 1. That was the first time he tried the outside today. That did not work out at all. That really couldn't have worked out much worse. He had a big run. He didn't want to pass it up. He's going to have to go back to being patient again. Just wait till the hole opens up on the bottom like it did that time. I think his teammate's going to let him through, though. I think Cope just passed Jeff Gordon. I don't even think Derek Cope is running all the races this season either. He is a part-time driver, I believe, for his own race team. It's Labonte, actually. Bobby Labonte that Cope just passed. Tony Stewart just got around Cope. Derek Cope is in 9th place. here at Charlotte. Johnson tried the top in 1 and 2 again. That time he got it to stick, but Kenseth's going to get underneath him. A little bit better corner exit, though, for the 48 off the banking. Cope to the inside of Stewart. He crossed him over after about a lap after Stewart had passed him. Bobby Labonte now to the inside of Cope. Trying to get his position back. Stewart pulls back down in front of Jimmy Johnson. He'll get back underneath Cope. It looks like Johnson will do the same. Derek Cope is as high as 8th place. He's back to 10th. He's about to fall back to 11th. He's going to start to get trained now all of a sudden. And Johnson's now in the top 10 as Kevin Harvick leads, passing Ryan Newman that last lap. This game is hoodwinked. The shock of the night is 28 laps in. I should say it was about lap 25, 26, but Derek Cope was in 8th place after about 25, 26 green flag laps at Charlotte. On a mile and a half. He's starting to go backwards now. Labonte, Stewart, Johnson all got around him. I believe Rusty Wallace did as well as whoever was behind Wallace. Elliott Sadler took the lead away from Harvick off turn 4 that last lap. Harvick was able to get a lap led in for bonus points, though. Johnson to the inside of Stewart, barely getting underneath him in the middle of 1 and 2. Clears him off the exit of 2 down the back straightaway. What is up with these bots down in the chat? We had some last night. We had like 4 of them throughout the course of the stream. We got one down in the chat again. I believe it's a bot. I would have to assume because it's the same comment they keep leaving in the chat. Like VOH or VOH.FYI. Whatever that means. It's not even a link. Like, you can't even click it, so I don't even understand what it is. Thanks for grabbing that, Billy. Rebecca Porter, if you are real, welcome to the stream, but I'm assuming you're not, so F off. Much of it was actually a real person. I just lost a fan of the channel. Dakota Martin, welcome to the stream. Oh, big block by Gordon on Ricky Rudd. I didn't know he was clear when he moved up. Johnson passed Rudd, following his teammate. Newman has found himself back in the lead again, lap 33. This is a crazy pack at the front of the field right now. There's about 10 cars. He's pulled away from everybody else. Oh boy, Dale Jr. throwing a block on Johnson. Jimmy made that major contact with Greg Biffle. Other than that, it's been a clean night, but that was because Brendan Gaughan, as well as the 174 car who was on the outside of Gaughan, and made contact. Johnson to the inside of Jr. Jr. tried to block again. Jimmy entered way too deep. He was thinking Jr. was going to pinch him off, and I mean, we'll never know if he actually was going to or not because of how deep Johnson drove it into the corner. He slid up the track and had to fall back in line behind the 8. All that work he did to finally get underneath him was all for naught. I'll have to try it again. Middle of turns 1 and 2. Not able to get there. Big run. Johnson on the inside of Junior. Off turn 4. Junior's definitely trying to side draft the 48 that time. A little bit of contact between the two. Junior gave 0 room to the points leader. Casey Kane, Jeff Gordon on the outside. Dale Jr. on the inside. Harvick is back out in the lead. Newman fell back to 4th. He's underneath Labonte for 3rd. And now Johnson's up to 4th, halfway on fuel off turn 4 this time. Casey Kane follows Jimmy Johnson. Labonte's losing a bunch of spots now. I tried hugging the white line, driving off the corner near the wall. Are you talking about like the hash lines that are on the straightaways? Not exactly sure what you're implying. I do my best to try to get the car all the way to the bottom. It's really hard to do that lap after lap after lap. We have a bit of a tighter setup too, so we can typically have better long run handling. Newman gets by Harvick. Johnson's going to try to make sure he fills the void quickly. Makes the pass on Harvick. Harvick almost put it in the wall off turn 4. Johnson trying to go for that first lap lead here very shortly. 2nd and 40 laps to go from the back towards the front. Underneath Ryan Newman, he makes the pass for 2nd. Jimmy Johnson has just marched his way through the field methodically. And now he's right behind the 38 into turn 3 for the lead. Johnson up high. Sadler up high. Johnson cuts down off 4 to the bottom. New leader at the line. Jimmy Johnson clears Elliott Sadler with a block. 5 bonus points, and the points leader, Johnson, has led his first lap. So exactly 40 laps to go from last to first. Still caution-free so far tonight. Best way to get around Ryan Newman, using the bumper zone to move him up the track. That is, I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong. Newman is definitely known as being one of the hardest drivers, if not the hardest driver in NASCAR to pass. It's still a 5-car group up here. I don't know why nobody's able to pull away. Draft shouldn't be that much of importance here at Charlotte. Johnson's got clean air, though, so the car's handling a little bit better. Even with 43 laps on the tires. And halfway on fuel back at lap 33, so that pit window is going to be between 60 to 65 laps for tonight's race. Oh, there goes Harvick to the inside of Jimmy Johnson for the race lead. Johnson's loose off 2. Gets into the side of the 29, and there goes Kane to the high side. Oh, Johnson trying to slow the car up so he didn't clobber anybody on the outside of him. He still got into Elliott Sadler. Second time Johnson's been on the high side today, and both times he has struggled to be able to hold on to that line. Might have to just start letting those guys get around him, instead of just trying to hang on strong. Car's just a bit too much on the loose side to be able to run the top here on this very narrow mile and a half. Remember, this is an older surface as well. This was repaved in 2005. This is the 2004 season, so that can't be helping. These Gen 4 cars that don't have nearly as much downforce as the cars today, especially on the mile and a halves. Johnson to the inside of Sadler, working him over again. These are the first laps Casey Kane has led today, though, so I'm sure he's appreciative of what was gone for him. The fact that Casey Kane is 5th in points with 6 races to go as a rookie, and he's still within 1 race worth of points from points leader Jimmy Johnson. Very, very impressive. He's already clinched the Rookie of the Year, being the first and only rookie in the chase. For other rookies that had good seasons, Brian Vickers had a pretty good year. He was about 15th in points, but he did not make the chase. Davion West, welcome to the stream. And Harvick lost a lot more ground than even Johnson. Johnson fell back to 4th. Harvick, I don't even know where he fell, position-wise or interval-wise. Johnson to the inside of the 12 of Newman. Got him. Charlotte's repave was in 2006. Well, you're correct, but there was also a repave in 2005. They did that graining thing that they did with the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Whatever it was, I don't know what exactly the terminology for it was, but they like stripped the track and they kind of like they paved it the way Indianapolis is, and all it did was just completely obliterate tires. And that was the year that they set the record for the most cautions in a single race in the Coke 600 with 22 cautions. Alternating through the different camera angles now in this one. So they did that, but then they actually like repaved it with regular asphalt in 2006. So this is the last year on this current surface. Get to that front bumper cam, we'll get to see the 48's damage on the front of his car after making contact with Biffle. He's trying to kind of arc the corner off in the middle to get around the 9 of Casey Kane. It's not really working because he can't get the car to really turn. Both on corner entry. By the time he gets to the middle, he had a chance. It seemed like he might have been underneath the 9. Johnson throwing a block on Newman now. Newman has to be down low now. Johnson went to the top. Bit better of a run down the back straightaway. Wow, Kane really pinched him off there. Johnson closes so much in the middle of the corner on Casey Kane. It's like he beats him back to the gas so much sooner. But Casey's not giving him enough room to pass him on the inside. Yeah, there's definitely some damage on the right front of Johnson's race car. Kind of figured that was pretty significant contact with Greg Biffle. Look at how close he is to the back bumper of the 9. Kane with a block down the backstretch. Johnson really tight in turns 3 and 4. Barely kept it off the wall. These guys have a little under a quarter tank of gas left. They're closing in on lap traffic. Very, very close to that first pit stop of the race already. Oh, Kane with a bad block there. It was not clear. More contact with the right front fender of Jimmy Johnson's race car, which may already be a little sensitive, as you can see. Yeah, I saw that DLC came out for NASCAR 21 Edition today. Ryan Newman's definitely fell behind the 48 and the 9. Jimmy looking for a run down the backstretch. Kane tried to block again. He's really going to try to squeeze the 48 car into turn 3. He didn't do it enough, though, and Jimmy Johnson's going to clear Casey Kane for the lead off turn 4. And green flag pit stops at lap 59 now. This time by our starting. Our first drivers are hitting the pits. So even though Johnson is taking the lead back away from Casey Kane, second time Johnson has led now in the first 60 laps. Just past lap car Kyle Petty. And Kane will pit. So Casey Kane pits at lap 59. Coming to lap 60. With him pitting that time by, knowing the tire wear here at Charlotte, that should give Casey Kane the lead, you would think. A lot more lap cars pitting. Johnson's going to take this fuel window and fuel run as far as he possibly can, so we have a good gauge of about how far he can go in case it becomes a potential fuel mileage race later on in the going. Insider Anus, welcome to the stream. Thanks for the $2 super chat. Is Jimmy Johnson overrated, underrated, or actually rated? It depends what you guys think, honestly. Then I could kind of like grade it off of that. I think the general consensus is that Jimmy Johnson is one of the greatest of all time. And I think that's accurately rated. I don't think it was all Chad Knaus. I don't think it was majority Chad Knaus. I think it was just the two worked well with each other together. And I think some of it might have been towards the end of Johnson's career that when Knaus moved on and Johnson struggled, I feel like many people were getting the interpretation that maybe Chad Knaus was maybe more deserving of the wins than Jimmy Johnson. But then Chad Knaus goes with William Byron and he only wins one race with him in 2 seasons. So it's kind of similar success, maybe a little more consistency with what Johnson had at the end of his career. But Johnson had 1 races without Chad Knaus. I think he won 4 races without Knaus in the middle of his career when Chad was suspended. Either suspended or, got ejected from the race weekend or something like that with pre-race violations, whatever it would have been. He won the 2006 Daytona 500 without Chad Knaus as the crew chief, too. I think he was suspended like the first 4 races that year, and Johnson won 2 of them. So, and Jimmy Johnson definitely can wheel a race car. I don't think that is underrated aspect. Current Jimmy Johnson is not an accurate representation of Jimmy Johnson's entire career or just the legacy of Johnson as a NASCAR driver. Maybe they should focus on patching NASCAR. Yeah, I think that's probably why they had a patch before the DLC, but obviously the patch didn't really fix hardly it. The only thing it fixed was the vibration. That's literally that, and maybe the scoring, but I don't even think the scoring's all the way fixed. Because I watched Real Radman test it out, and he finished 2 laps down without actually falling 2 laps down. I'm thinking he randomly was losing laps under the car, so I don't think they got that fixed. I think the only thing they legitimately fixed was restart order and vibration. And by restart order, I mean you restart in the position that you should be scored in, but you still lose a lap. So there's still a scoring error somewhere in there where you just randomly lose laps under caution. Whether you pit, you don't pit, you repair damage, you don't repair damage when you pit. It's really hit or miss. Johnson's made it to lap 67. He hit halfway on fuel at lap 33. So it seems like he's got more fuel in the back half of this legitimate fuel and tire stint. He's made it to lap 67. Now to lap 68. So he continues to stay on the racetrack. He's going to stay out this time by as well. And maybe he can go 70 laps. He's definitely getting more laps led in here, but he's going to lose more and more and more time. We'll have to see where he'll cycle out of the pit lane. Especially Casey Kane, who was right on his back bumper in second when the pit stop started. He already pitted. It would be 9 laps that time by since Kane is pit. And knowing the tire wear here at Lowe's Motor Speedway in 2004, this could definitely help Johnson in the back half of the run. Johnson going to stay out one more lap. He'll pit at lap 70, will be the plan. Oh, caution! Caution down at lap 70. Oh, does that play in Johnson's favor? He was about to pit this time by. We have trouble off of turn 4. Oh, major championship implications. Kevin Harvick's involved after the 122 car backs it into the outside wall and gets drilled in the right side of the race car, the right side door by championship contender Kevin Harvick. Johnson will pit. Everybody else will have to stay out to take the wave around, if that even works in this game. We know Casey Kane or whoever was in second is going to get the free pass, and that is the best thing that could have happened for Jimmie Johnson in the first 70 laps of this race. Restall Cup Pro Champ Skills, welcome to the stream. Only watched Gordon when he wasn't winning. Wonder what people thought of him in the late 90s. I could only imagine. I wasn't old enough to remember Gordon at the end of his championship tenure. Of course, his last title was in 2001. I would have been 3 years old at that time even. So I just wasn't quite old enough. Street flags back in the air. So Johnson's going to restart in 8th. Kevin Harvick, who's involved in the caution, is actually the leader. So only 7 drivers were 1 lap down to take the wave around, restart in the lead lap, but Johnson will have to restart at the rear of the field. So that caution has literally trapped everybody from 9th on back a lap down. Plus Johnson got to save some fuel under the caution on top of pitting well after the fact that now he's got about 10 lap fresher tires on the rest of the field. He restarted double file with most of the lap cars on the inside of the lead lap cars. Oh, they're wrecking off of into turn 1 again. More damage to the back bumper, the 77, and more to the front of the 48 of Johnson. Just has nowhere to go when that happens. just kind of check up at random. And that costed Johnson. Anyway, what I was going to talk about with Jeff Gordon, I would assume what Kyle Larson did this year was what Jeff Gordon was doing on a yearly basis in the 90s. The mid-90s to... From the mid-90s to the early 2000s, that's basically what Jeff Gordon was doing on a yearly basis. It was about 8, 9, 10 wins a season or more a season every season. So if Larson can keep this up, NASCAR-wise, he is definitely the closest thing we have seen since Jeff Gordon as far as just greatness stepping into a stock car. Any track doesn't seem to matter. It's kind of the same thing with Gordon. Johnson loses the lead because of the yellow, but it does trap a lot of drivers a lap down. Fortunately, he's got the whole length in the field to pass to try to get back to the lead again. 10-lap fresher tires will help. How much more damage does he have to the front of the car, though, after getting into the back and gone? Some contact up the way, saw some sparks flying up there. Casey Mears went wide and almost got into the wall, so I don't know if Scott Riggs or Ricky Craven that was around and made contact on corner entry. I've heard of Project Cars too. Yeah, I haven't played it though. Yeah, I've heard of the Project Cars series. Johnson's loose on the front stretch. Three wide down the back stretch into turn 3. Johnson hasn't really tried to go 3 wide intentionally today, but boy, it worked that time. Look at him just blister by a bunch of race cars. Those fresher tires, that risk definitely paid off. There's Derek Cope. I wonder where he's falling. He's probably trapped a lap down now, too. We got one car blowing an engine on the inside of the track, and that would be Ward Burton in the 0. Johnson's way too far down low. Kind of let the car go where it wants on the straightaways just because of how unstable it is even on the straightaways. That the less I touch the analog stick, the better. And in that case, we entered it way too low. So hard to run side by side with these guys, even when they're on older tires. Hard to drive for you with no assist. Are you talking about Project Cars too? Or any game? So you can tell without assist in this game, the car wiggles a lot. But it's still stable. Like, it wiggles a lot down the straightaway, but it's stable. It's not like NASCAR 21 Ignition where you just lose control at random. Just with no stability. Even if your tires aren't old. Like this, you can still try to push hard. You don't have to literally baby it from the drop of the green flag to the checker. Just to make laps. Not even fast laps, just to make laps. That's what you have to do in NASCAR 21 Ignition. Not all tracks, most tracks though. The side draft on the left rear corner panel of Kurt Busch. Busch trapped a lap down. That wasn't for position. That is a big problem for him and any of the other chase drivers who are trapped a lap down after that first yellow. Who is better driving talent-wise, Harvick or Johnson? You would think I don't want to really overly compare equipment too much, so you got to say Jimmy Johnson. You got to say Jimmy Johnson. Oh my goodness, that was a big block on Kurt Busch from the 48. Good thing he was clear. That was probably one that Johnson should not have pulled off. Jimmy Johnson's an all-time great. And so is Kevin Harvick. I'd say Harvick is arguably a top 10 NASCAR great, but Jimmy Johnson, in my opinion, is on the Mount Rushmore of NASCAR. Or at least is in the top 5. I could see an argument for him maybe being 5th, but I don't see him outside of the top 5. Johnson still hasn't passed any cars per position yet since the restart. Been 13 laps already. But it took him 40 laps to get to the front of the field on equal tires, fresh tires. 13 laps, and he's probably cracked about the top 10 already. Biffle trying to block. On the back straightaway, Johnson gets underneath him. Jimmy went all the way down to the apron just to make sure he was going to get underneath Biffle, but he was able to get up the racetrack well before the corner. It wasn't too awkward of an entry. Not as many as 19 people watching the stream so far. Only 7 likes, so hit that like button if you have not already. Subscribe again for more daily NASCAR content. Almost a third of the way through this race already. Probably a little over a quarter of the way home. At least you got Jimmy Johnson on your Mount Rushmore. Such a random list of drivers. There's like no parity. I will say your Mount Rushmore has 88 wins between them. Between all 4 of them. I think Johnson's got 83, correct? I know Montoya's got 2. Bain's got 1, and Stenhouse has 2. I think Jimmy Johnson has 83. Starting to pass cars per position. Nearly clears Elliott Sadler. Sadler was kind of coming down to side draft him as Jimmy Johnson was moving up. It's a good thing he had him cleared. That could have ended badly. So Harvick's now the last car in the lead lap at 8th. Damage to the front of his car after being involved in that last and only caution. Johnson's got some damage off the initial start. Now the restart with cars stacking up into turn 1. He got into the back of Biffle. Earlier got into the back of another driver who was Brendan Gaughan this time around. Dale Jr. leading the way again after starting on the pole. So trying to top through 1 and 2. Not really going to work. All are supremely talented. While Pablo Montoya is a supremely talented race car driver, and even in NASCAR he had for just jumping right into the Cup Series, not really running a full season in developmental, to win 2 races, make the chase, twice? Pretty good for 5, 6, 7 years he was in the Cup Series, in all honesty. And he was in B-level equipment the whole time with Chip Ganassi Racing, so it wasn't like he was with the top team. Newman trying to block. His fellow 2002 rookie Jimmy Johnson's going to get underneath him down the backstretch into 3. And it'll be Johnson clearing Ryan Newman for the race lead. Lap 95, third different time Johnson has led now tonight at Lowe's Motor Speedway. So a lot of crazy battling for the lead at Kansas last night. Haven't seen too crazy battling for the lead so far tonight. Johnson on fresher tires, it's going to be really hard for these guys to make their way around him. It's only 10 laps. And it may have evened itself out by now, considering that he has already been out on the track on these tires for 23 laps. Still took him half the amount of time to get through the field with the fresher tires versus what it did with equal tires at the start of the race. Still was fairly patient and, oh man, making his way up there. That was a big mistake getting into 3, and Dale Jr. is going to get underneath him. So much for, trying to pull away. Jeff Gordon just slipped up the track off turn 4 out of nowhere into the 48, and then Gordon gets into the wall. We stay green, no caution. Gordon just got tight. Something. Johnson held his line on the outside. Gordon just kept coming up off the exit of the corner. Out the 2-car breakaway. Alternate through the different camera angles one more time in today's race. Mainly just to see what the damage is like on the front bumper again. From Jimmy Johnson. Do I miss Brian France? No, I do not. That's a random question. Johnson does have 83 wins. That's what I thought. He's only one away from Darrell Waltrip, wasn't he? Or did Waltrip have... It's like 3 drivers right around 83, 84 wins. I think Waltrip might have had 84. Or maybe Waltrip had 83 and then Bobby Allison had 84. I know those are the 2 drivers around Johnson. $100 laps complete at the start-finish line that time by. And name one good thing that Brian France did. I don't know. I don't know how much of... I'm sure most of the decisions had to run through him, but I'm not sure exactly, like, a lot of the decisions that were made while he was in charge, if they were all his ideas or not. I'm sure most of them were. I'm trying to think of, like, in the long term, what probably the best decision or was a great decision that he was able to make. I honestly don't know. Yarborough has 83. Allison and Waltrip have 84. Okay. Forgot about Yarborough being in there too. Jimmy Johnson's going to try to go off strategy and short pit. He's going to pit this time at lap 105. Trying to hope that's going to separate himself from the rest of the field even more this time around as Dale Jr. continues to lead. Johnson will make a green flag stop off turn 4. Got to make sure he doesn't speed. Remember, this is his first green flag stop of the day. It'll be 4 tires and fuel for Jimmy Johnson, no adjustments. Best decision Brian France made was leaving NASCAR. I don't think that was his decision. I think NASCAR weeded him out after that drug possession charge. Santiago Kid, welcome to the stream. Johnson having a tough time trying to get around to 8. Yeah, I'd say, even on fresher tires, which were probably evened out by that point in the run. There were only 10-lap fresher tires. I'm sure it made a difference for the first 10 to 20 laps. After that, they were pretty evened out. Dale Jr.'s got a pretty big lead, though. Jimmy Johnson's in 9th place. Johnson short pits at lap 105. He was able to go to lap 70 before a caution came out earlier in the race. He was going to pit that time. I don't think he can go any longer. Guess we'll never know if he would be able to or not. Andrew Soto, welcome to the stream. Pit this time code is famous. It is highly famous in NASCAR 21 edition. So famous that that's like one of the only 3 phrases the spotter knows how to say. It's car high, car low, and pit this time. That's about it. Ryan Newman's being Ryan Newman now. Johnson trying to make his way around him on fresher tires. Even fresher tires than what he would have had the first time around. Now he'll get around him. Johnson's not the first car lap down if we did get a caution, though. Matt Kenseth in the 17 car is actually in 8th place in front of him. Because now with Johnson pitting, there are only 7 cars on the lead lap. Pretty clean stop by the 48 team. Really all chase long. They've had a lot of clean pit stops. Does that mean I don't like the original chase? I will say that the current playoff format we have is the best one. And Brian France technically was in charge when it would have been 2017. He was in charge until middle of 2018. August of 2018. So, I mean, out of technicality, Brian France was in charge of the stage racing era becoming a thing. And the current playoff system with the 16-man with the stage points and the playoff points carried through the playoffs. And it was kind of like a slow but yet quick transition from the original chase into many different forms before we got to that one. Wish it wouldn't have taken that long. If they were going to start a playoff, you wish you just would have in 2004 came up with this, but oh well. NASCAR 21 spotter needs to lay off the cuff. Yeah. No more sugar or caffeine for him. He's definitely wide awake. Kenseth's been pinching the 48 car of Jimmy Johnson now. All the way down the front stretch into turn 1. Johnson's trying to stay low. Kenseth with a big block, and he was not clear. These guys are battling for the free pass position. If we get another caution in the middle of green flag pit stops. Kenseth is not giving up this spot with ease. Definitely been really hard to try and pass these faster cars on the field tonight. Johnson trying to make up time on the fresh tires. Finally undercuts Kenseth off the exit at turn 2. Try to pull away down the backstretch, making sure that Kenseth wasn't going to side draft him, and now they make a little bit of contact. Getting into the corner. With that contact, Johnson was not able to clear Kenseth. Kenseth's still there. And now Johnson clears the 17. $16 people watching right now, only 9 likes. Hit that like button, ladies and gentlemen. Again, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We're at lap 116 of the UAW GM Quality 500 at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is the leader. Jimmy Johnson's already made his second stop of the day, short pitting at lap 105. The rest of the field will be making their stops very shortly. We've had one caution. It was at lap 70. Well, Jimmy Johnson was the last car on the track. Perfectly timing caution there for him. So we know at least he can go 70 laps on fuel. Remember, short pitting is definitely what helped Jimmy Johnson win at Kansas last night. He only had a half-a-second victory over teammate Jeff Gordon, leading to the 1-2 finish for Hendrick Motorsports. With that final pit stop of the day where Johnson short pitted to make his way out in front of the field. Although he gave up what was an 8.3-second lead out of the pits in the last 23 laps, it got cut down to just a half a second. There was at least enough of a gap that he was able to hold on. And now more green flag pit stops at lap 120 are beginning for other drivers in the field. I'm sure Dale Jr. is going to be making his way into the pits very soon. He'll stay out this time. Every lap he stays out is going to be better for Johnson. It's only going to give Jr. a little bit more fresher tires in return, trying to run down the 48. I can't recall. I don't think any rookie has had 12 straight top 12 straight top 10s to start a season. I don't believe so. Because I know even William Byron, he had 11 straight top 10s at one point earlier this season. He was the first driver to do that since Jeff Gordon. And it wasn't Gordon's rookie year, I can definitely tell you that. So even just to get 10 in a row. And then to start a season, not just to being in the middle of the year, but to start a season is even harder. Love to have a chatting spotter. On super speedways, yes, but not 24/7 every racetrack you go to is not exactly the best thing. I guess it's better than having a quiet spotter. If you had to pick one or the other. At least he's saying something. Dale Jr. just pit that last time by off of turn 4. He was one of the last lead lap drivers to pit. It looks like there are only 2 more on the track. Actually, 1 more considering Jr. is still the leader. So he's trying to get as many laps led as he can before turning over the lead to Jimmy Johnson. There's Dale Earnhardt Jr. making his way out of the pits. And Johnson short pitting is by far going to be able to cycle out in front of the 8. Now Jr.'s going to try to run Johnson back down on his fresher tires. Johnson's got about 20 lap older tires. It's lap 125. He pitted at lap 105. And Junior's about 3.7 seconds off the race lead. Honestly, I'm shocked Johnson didn't gain more time than that in 20 laps. I think a lot of it, he was caught behind Matt Kenseth there for a little while. And Kenseth was racing the heck out of him. Now he's got these 2 drivers. Oh, man. Tony Walker, Paul Menard. They're side by side in front of Johnson. Now they're going to go wide. Old contact between Menard and Johnson off the exit. Turn 4, they tag again. So 122 coming out of the pits. Well, the lead has already dropped a half a second and about a lap and a half with Johnson making that contact with Menard, so that was not ideal. Longer Johnson holds on, the better. Still a long ways to go in this one. Not the traditional Coca-Cola 600, it's 500 miles, so shorter as far as Charlotte races nowadays are concerned, considering the second Charlotte date is now at the Roval and has been for 4 years. If you were in NASCAR, you said basically 2 records, 2 rookie records. Yes, but I don't think you could translate that same success to NASCAR. You said it's on iRacing, correct? Because it's not the Cup Series. You're not going out there against, the best of the best, Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick on a weekly basis, and putting those same numbers together. And it isn't a real Cup car on top of it. But if we were imagining that, or I should say, if you were in the Cup Series as a rookie, put those numbers together, yes, that would be 2 records. Those are 2 very, very, very different series. I mean, take Chase Briscoe, for instance. I know Stuart Haas had a down year this year, but it's still a top-level equipment. And he was only able to fork 5 top 10s this season in his rookie year total. Let alone nowhere close to getting 10 in a row. He didn't even get half that in a single season. Pretty hard. You're driving a Ford? Well, I'll give you brownie points for that. I'm a Mustang guy. I mean, I could care less really about like Ford, Chevy. It just so happens that my favorite drivers growing up and now happen to drive Ford. And I also happen to have a Ford Mustang, so it does go hand in hand, I guess, but I'm not huge with manufacturer alliance when it comes to rooting for manufacturers in NASCAR. I've never really been like that. I know some people are. For sure, that's definitely a highly successful season no matter where you're at, especially for your first year. Oh, it's only 26 car field too. Yeah, but you would probably think that the cars are maybe more competitive in an online racing series from top to bottom versus an actual NASCAR. You know what I'm saying? Like all 40 cars in NASCAR, even with the next gen car next year, they're not all equal. They're about as equal as they'll ever be or have ever been, but it doesn't mean they're actually all equal from top to bottom, team, organization. It's still gonna be some very major differences. Dark Crypto, welcome to the stream. I have a Mustang, 2004. Mine's a 2004. It's a 40-year anniversary car. So it looks a little different from the other Mustangs in the early 2000s, early to mid 2000s. Like it kind of looks like one of the early 2000s ones, but it also kind of looks more modern at the same time. It was kind of one of those like oddball ones. Not a big car guy either, but it was like Mustangs. Then I got a really good deal for it, and it didn't have a lot of miles on it. I've had it since I was 17, so I've had it for 5 years. I've barely had any issues. Outside of last summer, having to replace the front, like the entire front end. Not the engine, but just like the suspension and everything in the front end. Got that replaced. But outside of that, outside of like brake rotors occasionally and then one set of tires I've had to replace on it so far for the winter. That's literally all I've replaced on it. Been pretty cost efficient. Driven it to most of the NASCAR tracks I've gone to. Only ones I haven't driven it to are the ones my dad went with me, like to Darlington, Talladega. So I think I rented a car the first time I went to Talladega. I know the first time I went to Charlotte, I drove that car. I didn't this year. I also rented a car that time. That was the only time I rented a car this year. That's when I went to the Coke 600. That was also because I knew I had to get the front end changed, so I didn't want to drive it to Charlotte. And you're fifth in points. About a half a tank, 35 laps into the run for Jimmy Johnson. So he's going to plan on going 70 laps again. And won't be pitting until lap 175 will be the scheduled next stop for the 48. The lead's down under a second. There's only 2 lap cars between the top 2 now. So Dale Jr. on 20-lap fresher tires is running down the 48. I think Johnson was expecting to have more than a 3.7 second lead with 20-lap fresher tires. Or I should say older tires before giving it up. He had 20 laps to try and extend the lead on about 40-lap fresher tires in the rest of the field. So to only go from right behind the race leader to a 3.7-second lead over second place Dale Jr. All reality, it wasn't that big of a change. I think he was expecting more like how Kansas was, where he had that 8.3-second gap, and he was really nowhere close to it. Lap car Paul Menard, and then when he battled Kenseth at the time for the free pass position for 8th as well, was definitely a pretty hard battle that cost him some time, but Junior is just closing repeatedly here, and Johnson is going to have to end up forking over the lead once he gets to him. He's not going to want to give it up for the sake of trying to lead the most laps, knowing that these are the top two in the point standings. Junior's led quite a bit already. Johnson's now leading quite a bit in this race. Just like at Kansas, these two are going to be trying to battle for the most laps led. Johnson had it last night and got the win. Junior finished third. Johnson only extended the points lead by 20 points from 69 to 89 points. It's still very tight. And then Gordon came in tonight, 95 back in third. That Dale Jr. also went from 5th to 2nd in the standings last night. He was not 2nd in points going in. Or actually, you know what? No, he was. I was thinking Gordon and Harvick were tied, but that was the race before that. That was going into Talladega. They were tied. Yeah, Junior was 2nd in points last night. He was in 5th 2 races ago, and they got up to 2nd in that one race. Kenseth's better than Gordon. That sounds a little biased. But there's going to be another wreck coming up soon. It's possible. I've only seen one so far. This is the longest of the 2 green flag runs so far. And now Dale Earnhardt Jr. has rained down Jimmy Johnson. Johnson's got side-by-side lap traffic in front of him into turns 1 and 2. He's probably saying, move over now. Junior couldn't trap Johnson behind the lap cars for a pick, so he's just going to have to follow the 48 for right now. Tried to wait down into 1 and 2 to make the pass on him. Jimmy's going to make it hard on him. Johnson hitting his marks. Going to make Junior try to pass him on the outside. Now a 75-lap green flag run at the start-finish line that time. Johnson's definitely having to lift a lot more on corner entry to try to keep the car to the bottom and keep Dale Jr. behind him. Junior going to try the outside through 3 and 4 this time. Johnson's going to give it to him. Junior's going to lose a little bit of time. That outside lane just did not work for him. Didn't work for Johnson the 3 times he tried it earlier in the race either. Johnson kind of overdrove the center of 3 and 4. Dale Jr. moved up the track off the exit of the corner as well, though. Right front into the yellow for Johnson. Jimmy's definitely hitting his marks. Oof. A little loose getting into 3. The hope here is to hold on as long as you can. Maybe you get a caution that evens the playing field right back up again. Don't have to worry about losing the lead. Kyle Petty fan growing up. That's unique. Kyle Petty was a good driver in the early to mid-90s. How many Cup wins does he have? 8? 8 or 10? A lot of them were at the... His career was very similar to, like, Ryan Newman's. Not as many wins, but just how they came out guns blazing, competed for championships those first few years, and then never really did it again. It was mediocre after that. That's kind of what Kyle Petty and Ryan Newman kind of had to offer for their NASCAR careers. Well, Dale Jr. finally got around Jimmy Johnson. Johnson got a little too loose into turn 3 that last lap. Jimmy's going to try to stay with him. Lap cars, Derek Cope and Ricky Craven coming up. Johnson's going to try to pick Dale Jr. behind one of them. Jr. towards the top. Johnson gets the undercut. There he goes. Perfectly placed pick that time for Johnson to get back by Dale Jr. He made sure the 8 car wasn't going to pull away on those fresher tires. He hung with them for 2 laps and regains the lead back with the help of Ricky Craven. Now Johnson's going to want to get around Cope quickly. Cope was in 8th place earlier. 26 laps into the race. I have no clue how he was able to do that. He was passing guys like Tony Stewart, Bobby Labonte, former champions, and it was unbelievable what we were seeing at the time, and now he's 2 laps down, falling back to normalcy. Maybe outside of Johnson, everybody else didn't have practice too, and that's how Cope just unloaded faster somehow. That's what I'll blame it on. And Junior's, he's getting in and he's getting off the corner a lot better than Jimmy Johnson. Johnson's just got to roll the bottom. Just make sure Dale Jr. just doesn't get enough of a peak to be able to even get to the corner panel with Johnson on corner entry, really. Only a quarter tank of gas left for Jimmy. He's only about 17, 18 laps away from his pit stop. And outside of 2 laps, he's led the other laps during this run. He's doing pretty well for himself. By no means is he pushing as hard as he can right now either. Because if he did, the car would naturally not want to hook up to the bottom of the racetrack that well. He's just kind of backing the corners up enough to run the bottom. Dale Jr.'s racing him clean right now. Maybe a little later in the race, Jr. may be more aggressive trying to make that pass, but right now Johnson can get away with it. Try to get the strategy back down about as best as he can. But now they're side by side with the lap cars right in front of Jimmy Johnson again. Junior's going to try to pick Johnson behind the lap car, Mark Martin, but it's not going to happen. Oh, Johnson got loose off turn 4. And he clips the 6 of Martin. And look at Dale Jr. go up the middle to the lead. Johnson made a mistake off 4. He made contact with Mark Martin. Dale Jr. gets to the lead going right up the middle. Days of Thunder style and splitting the smoke that was being sprayed down the front stretch. That was a clean move by Dale Jr. Junior's got the 144 car in front of him. Johnson trying to keep pace. Junior's still caught behind the lap car. It's allowing Johnson to close back again. Jimmy slides the tires. Dale Jr. stuck on the outside as well, though, in 3 and 4. Jr. with a block. He cannot get around the 144 car to save his life. Johnson going to beat Dale Jr. to the bottom into 1 and 2. using the lap car as a pick to take the lead again. Lap traffic is not helping Dale Earnhardt Jr. at all. That's the second time Johnson's got around him with the older tires, simply because the lap cars are not getting out of Dale Jr.'s way. But now Johnson couldn't get back to the bottom again in 3 and 4. Jr. to the inside. There's contact. Oh, that was a big hit. Into the wall. Johnson goes around. Caution's out. Caution is out. For the second time tonight, Johnson clipped the wall off 4, and then he clipped the 144 in a bad spot. He's going to pit. And so will everybody else. Oh, that was not ideal. Everybody's right back on the same strategy again. 4 times Johnson's been on the outside, and all 4 times he's either gotten into somebody or scraped the wall. Just can't hold it. New tires, old tires, it doesn't matter. There's just no grip up there tonight. Oh, geez, Kenseth getting turned in the pits. Well, Johnson beats him out of the pit lane. That's one way to do it. I guess a couple drivers stayed out of the pits and did not make a stop under green. Supposedly, green flag back in the air. Junior and Gordon both pit, so I don't know. Maybe it was somebody that was a lap down that took the wave around, perhaps. Anyway, green flag is back in the air. So green flag back in the air at Charlotte. Jeff Gordon out to the inside of Dale Jr. for the lead. I don't think Gordon's led yet today. He'll lead that lap 5 bonus points. Some lap cars on the outside. Well, Gordon was the first driver to get to the lead and get around the lap cars who restarted on the inside. Now he's going to be the tough out to try and pass. I do think Johnson and Jr. are better. Johnson can run the top by himself. He just can't run the top of the car underneath him. Just gets too narrow off the exit of the corners. He's all over the back of the 24. Yeah, honestly, I feel like Landon Castle is definitely a playoff caliber driver with Colleague Racing. I think we don't know what Castle can do with this kind of equipment because he's never had it really at all. Except for very early into his NASCAR Premier Series racing career, but he was so young and it was only a part-time schedule that he didn't really get to showcase all of his skills. Now that he's been around for a while, he's a veteran, he knows the cars. Let's see what he can do. I'm excited to see what Landon Castle can do next year. I hope he does well, and because if he does well, I think it helps keep the journeyman driver mentality alive in NASCAR going forward, even with as much as sponsorship as the main focus, that is still a way to get into the sport, stay in the sport, be competitive in the sport. It's definitely nowhere near as much of a thought as what it would be nowadays, and it doesn't happen not nearly as frequent at all compared to what it would happen nowadays. But if he could do that, that would be a great look. Darren Dill, welcome to the stream. Congratulations, getting married pretty soon. Congrats, man. I don't want to say Jimmy Johnson bringing out that caution was a good thing, because it definitely has brought more drivers back into contention instead of just Jimmy Johnson and Dale Jr. like it was. But the good thing now is it's a lot easier to hold these guys off on fresh tires versus on having older tires. The bad news is he damaged the right front even more for somebody who has not DNF'd yet this season. He'd like to keep it that way. Hence, a main reason why he won the regular season championship, and another main reason why he's got an 89-point lead over Junior coming into the race. This race is sponsored by Taco Bell. Live fast. Isn't it live fast? Isn't that like their motto? I think it is. I could be wrong. I know it's live Moss. Live fast. Live fast. Live more. Oh, man. Johnson pulled out of the way of Dale Jr. He let him go so he could try to run the outside. He didn't realize that Jr. had that big of a run. Johnson just cuts off the 17 of Ken's if he wasn't going to let another car underneath him. Jr. slips up off the exit of 4. Johnson stays glued to the white line. Jr. trying to side draft the right rear quarter panel, and Jr. never led that lap. Johnson was able to get back up in front and clear him. There's those other drivers that we talked about that are back in contention again. Tony Stewart, Ryan Newman, Matt Kenseth, along with Dale Jr. and Jeff Gordon. Of course, Johnson the leader. Gordon to the bottom. Johnson actually held on to the outside that time without even letting Gordon by. And try to do it again in turns 3 and 4. I don't know if it's going to work again, though. For a full lap, Johnson has held on to the top lane here at Charlotte. What the Vol drivers do is inside his teammate Jeff Gordon. Now into turns 1 and 2. He's going to let Gordon go. Didn't lift too much more. He was really trying to squeeze the 24, even though he was going to let him in front of him, lifting a little more. He didn't want to get freight trained. That was a clean transition. Good pass by Gordon. Gordon trying to go for the Charlotte sweep. Did not win the All-Star race, but again, he did win the Coke 600, and he's now trying to win the second race at Charlotte. Johnson beats him to the inside into 1 and 2. Hasn't cleared him, though. Gordon going to hold on to the outside off 2, just like Johnson did a couple laps prior. Into 3 and 4, Johnson is clear. Gordon trying to block Ryan Newman. Oh, what a crossover. He gets to the inside of Jimmy Johnson. What a move by Jeff Gordon. And he's back in the lead again. Johnson fouls in line behind him. Great battle for the lead. Clean at that between the Hendrick teammates. Johnson to the bottom. Off turn 4. They're giving each other enough room, though, to be able to do this. Even though they're only within 95 points of each other for the championship. Johnson clears Gordon back in 1 and 2. Gordon definitely looking low down the backstretch, but Johnson hits his marks getting into 3 and 4. Gordon's going to have to wait another time to try and get around him. Gordon almost gets into the wall off turn 4. He's a lot wider than the 48 car. Oh yeah, I forgot the Army-Navy game Saturday. I think, what time does that game start? I haven't looked into it, so I don't know what time it starts. I usually watch it, but Now I'm working Saturdays. Well, I have been since I worked at Home Depot Distribution. I've been there almost a year now, but I started just after the New Year last year. I might have to miss the start of it. I'll miss all of it if it's at noon. Noon or 1 o'clock, I don't get off till 4:30. Wow, Ken's at the bottom now. He's looking for his first lead of the night. Well, Johnson's in the wall up 4, trying to hold on to it. Still in the wall. And he falls all the way back to 4th, so Kenseth has led his first lap of the night. He was a lap down earlier. If you guys don't mind, for a quick second, and I'll pause it here in a couple laps. I got to refill my water. I had some Buffalo Wild Wings a couple hours ago, and my mouth's getting kind of dry from the wings. I've drank a lot of water since I got done eating, but I need to. I ran out. I drank the rest under the first green flag pit stop, and started to get thirsty again. There's a little bit of a delay in the chat, so I'll give it a couple more laps. Good battle for the lead still. I hate to interrupt it. How good of a battle this has been. Newman to the inside of Kenseth. Side by side for the lead. Newman back out in front. Here comes the 48 up to second. Gordon to third. Kenseth from the lead back to 4th in about a half a lap. I'm going to try the outside into 3. I don't think that's going to work out for him. Newman up high. Johnson with the cut. Down to the bottom. I don't know how many different times Johnson's led today. Newman is not side drafting him, but he did not give him a lot of room, and there's a little bit of contact into 3. Both cars hang on. Surprised Newman didn't get knocked more out of shape with the contact, to be completely honest. Johnson ran a higher lane in 1 and 2. Newman not going to pinch him as much this time into 3. Maybe realizing he might have pinched him a little too much beforehand. So he gives it up. He'll try to pass him back cleanly. Lap 191, Johnson again back out in front. Still a 4-car breakaway at the front of the field. Johnson blocking Newman. Kenseth to the inside, or at least taking a peek off 4 to try and get around Newman for second. All right, I'll pause it for a quick second down the back straightaway. I'll be right back. Go refill my water. Oh, never mind. I still have some in it. I thought it was empty. I purposely have not taken a drink for the last half hour because I thought it was empty. We're good. Never mind. False alarm. I'm an idiot sometimes. I still had like a quarter of a cup left. I thought it was empty. I will probably have to refill a little bit later, but I'm good right now. I'll refill it under the next caution or pit stop we have to make, so that way I don't pause in the middle of green flag action again. Oh man, speaking of caution, Kenseth just cleaned out the 12 of Newman getting into 1. And Jeff Gordon's up to 2nd. That could have been an accident right there. Luckily it wasn't. Hendrick Motorsports back to running 1-2 on the racetrack. Newman crosses back underneath Gordon. About 139 laps to go that last time by, so we are past halfway. This 500-mile race tonight at Charlotte. Big block by Johnson on Newman. Barely able to do it cleanly. Down the backstretch, and Gordon, I believe, put the bumper to the back of Newman into turn 3. They both go up the track, and Kenseth's up to 2nd after the contact. So a lot of contact in that battle for 2nd behind the 48 car over the last 3 laps. You got to be careful back there. I think Johnson's in front of it. We forget things all the time. I was thinking, I drank that water during the green flag pit stop I made earlier. I thought I drank all of it, but I guess I didn't. I still had like a quarter of a cup left. There's 16 fluid ounce cups, so I mean, I still have like 4 ounces of water left in there. Oh wow. I just take a stand. I would do that if I had a steering wheel. That would not work well with a controller. I guarantee I'd wreck. Some people can drive one hand with the controller. I don't know how. I've seen a buddy of mine do that. He's not the greatest at it, but he can still do it and make it look all right, hitting his marks. He doesn't really like hit his marks, but he can potentially keep it off the wall depending on what track he's at. If he doesn't have to use a lot of brakes, like a mile and a half and bigger, he can do it. I can't. I can guarantee I couldn't do it. Especially with this battle for the lead going on right now, I would have wrecked trying to block or something. If somebody would have gotten underneath me, I definitely would have wrecked. We already wrecked once on our own with somebody getting underneath me off turn 4. That was without taking a drink of water at the same time. Gordon. Inside of Newman for 2nd. Just a roulette of drivers battling for 2nd place. Oh, Gordon gets into the left rear of Johnson, and Johnson's in the wall off turn 4. Kenseth goes from 4th to 1st. Oh, Gordon just put it in the wall again, it looked like. Oh, man, Junior just ran right into the left rear of Johnson. And Dale Jr.'s up to 2nd. Tony Stewart battling for 3rd out of nowhere. A few other drivers. Looks like Casey Kane's caught up from behind as well. Halfway through the run, Stewart gets really tight. He goes up the track. Johnson was kind of down in front of Gordon. Gordon just kept trying to go lower and lower. He had his left side just a hair below the white line. I think he moved up just enough after he clipped the apron. And that's what made the contact between the Hendrick Chevys. Junior trying to pinch Jimmy Johnson down into turn 3. Didn't happen enough to hold the 48 back. Johnson gets back around Dale Jr. Yeah, I usually don't like pausing the game. I usually try to make sure I take a drink whenever there's a caution or whenever I make a pit stop, so I don't have to pause it. Because that's about, you know, especially if I take a big drink of water while I'm doing that. That's at least one drink of water every half hour through the stream. Like I could get through a full cup during the stream. There's sometimes I'll fill up like 2 cups, 2 cups up here during the stream if it's a longer race, kind of like tonight. Only tonight I only had just the one, so that's why I'm out now. Most of the time I'll have two. You guys will see me taking a drink a lot. And that way I don't have to get up. I'll have to get up before the end of this race. I'll wait it out till the next pit stop. I'm not dying of thirst. I stay hydrated throughout the course of the day, so it's not a big deal when it comes time to stream. Close quarters racing going on right now between Jimmy Johnson and Matt Kenseth. Kenseth holding on to the lead. Slight contact off turn 4 between the two of them. Kenseth tried to block. Johnson goes all the way down to the apron to make sure he wasn't going to get blocked. Kenseth holds on though. Kenseth was 10th in points 2 races ago. He has climbed his way to 6th. 194 points back. Had that blown engine back at Dover. Or sorry, blown engine at Dover, but he followed it up with a win at Talladega after even spinning earlier in the Dega race. Again, he tries to throw a block. As they make their way into turn 3, it's Johnson making the pass. That time Johnson kept going lower, and Kenseth pretty much done after that. No chance there. Be happy as a Packers fan. Destroy the lines with. Yeah, I keep forgetting I haven't bought my tickets yet for the game, but I'm sure there'll be some available considering it's in Detroit. The Lions suck this year, but I'm definitely planning on going to the Packers and Lions game in Detroit. Final week of the regular season, week 18. That'll be pretty good. Feels weird just being stuck inside the house for a long period of time. I know Martinsville was the second to last race of the year, and I was there. But not going, really out of the house to do anything except for Christmas shopping, which I've only really done twice since, the season started. And once was today. Outside of doing that stuff, I've just been, in the house. Like, when I'm not working, I've been in the house for a little over a month now. I'm just not used to it. I was used to it during COVID. It was getting old. For about 6, 7, 8 months before I went to Darlington. For Bristol for the All-Star race in 2020. I was slowly get back into the groove of things with, traveling again, but I only went to 3 races that year because of COVID. And I made up for it. I went to 11 last year. I'll be at 11 again next year. But I got to wait till February. At least I don't have to wait as long as I did last season. Because last season, 2020, the last race I went to, and the third race I went to was Talladega in the fall. So it was early October. And then I didn't go to another race until Talladega again in the spring. So I had from early October to late April between races, and that felt like an eternity. I plan on hopefully not doing that again. I'm spacing my races out a little bit better this year. Because I had that stretch where I went to 4 in a row, and I think I went to 8 out of like 11 or 12 in a stretch there in the summer. Johnson holds on to the outside. Oh, jeez, he just tried to pinch Kenseth. He just completely made contact, and that messed up turn 3 for Johnson. It's passed by a few other cars. Oh, my goodness, he just cut down right on top of Tony Stewart. Stewart's in the wall. Caution! Stewart has crashed. There's trouble into turn 1, and Jimmy Johnson kind of caused it. Oh, man, big crash. Couple of chase drivers involved. Tony Stewart, Casey Kane, Kevin Harvick involved in his second accident, and he goes spinning down to the apron of the track in 1 and 2. Jeff Burton and Michael Waltrip just missed Casey Kane to the outside. And everybody will pit during the caution. So second yellow of the race that Johnson has either caused or been involved in. And that is the third caution total in the race today. I'll be pausing it to get a drink here after this pit stop. FYI. Should only take me like 30 seconds. I gotta run downstairs, run to the fridge, and then run back. I gotta throw some ice in it too. 30 seconds probably approximate. Yeah, so the crew chief said there were a couple cars that didn't pit the last time. I wonder if that's the case this time around, but no, it's not, because Johnson's still in 4th. All right, I'll pause it. I'll be right back, guys. I'm refilling my water. That's better. Gotta get that high quality H2O. All right, green flag back in the air following the third caution of the race. Another field reset. That should be the second to last restart, or sorry, the second to last pit stop. They should have to make one more. Oh boy, Johnson's put 3 wide. This is not a good position for Jimmy to be in. With contact with Sterling Marlin, now he gets into the wall. He has just struggled trying to hold the outside with the car underneath him all day, and that was no different right there. Matt Kenseth leads off the restart. Okay, Adams. At least you got you understood my reference. I said that to somebody at work the other day, and they looked at me like I was stupid. I was like, "Do you not know what the water boy is?" They're like, "Oh, I didn't realize that's what you're implying." Like, so you're just looking at me like I was an idiot. How do you not know the water boy off the top of your head? Nice cheats. Thanks. Yeah, it's like one of the few times you've seen me as not a torso. A lot of lappers up here. Johnson to the top in 1 and 2. Probably shouldn't have done that. He's going to have McMurray cleared off the exit of the corner, so that will get him a big run. Again, he can run the top well by himself when he doesn't have a car underneath him. Rusty Wallace really pinching off Johnson. Wallace trying to make a pass for position on Brian Vickers. The exit of turn 4, Johnson beats Wallace back to the gas. He gets underneath him. Wallace trying to pinch him again in turns 1 and 2. Looks like he's going to into 1 and 2 and does. Johnson holds his line, drives by him, drives by Ricky Rudd. Still no passes for position. Bobby Labonte's up to second place. He's 10th in the chase standings. Said he's not out of it. 282 points back if he has really strong runs. Running second right now. That is a strong run that could keep him in the hunt. Yeah, that's probably the most watched Adam Sandler movie I think I've ever watched. Waterboy. Yeah, that's definitely the most watched. I love Billy Madison, but I've probably only seen it like twice, maybe 3 times. It's been a while since I've seen Waterboy. I feel like I catch it on TV or something, or well, I don't have like TV, but I have Hulu. If I'm like bored, I see it on all the time. Even if it's not from start to finish, it's like the last half hour I'll watch it. Bonnie got a little loose off turn 4. He wiggled a bit. Jeff Gordon will make his pass. Johnson to the inside in 1 and 2. Labonte will have time to get down in 4th place. Jimmy Johnson with a big run down the backstretch. He's going to go to the outside to try and make a pass on Jeff Gordon. I don't know if it's going to work. It hasn't worked out for him all day long. Johnson had the run, and he wasn't going to pass it up. Problem is, now that he's on the outside of Gordon, how's he going to clear him? Oh, that might be how. That is not ideal. You don't want to see that between teammates. He just got loose off 2 again. Can't help it. Can't help but make contact with another car. Oh, yeah, that's right. Happy Gilmore is probably... I think I've seen the Waterboy more, but Happy Gilmore is probably number 2. Never mind. Billy Madison's not number 2. I don't know why I forgot about Happy Gilmore. Johnson to the inside of Kenseth. Pass is made for the lead. I would think Johnson's definitely led the most laps up to this point. He hasn't clinched it yet. Still have just over 100 laps to go. Johnson has led quite a bit in this one. Despite starting at the rear and taking to lap 41 to lead his first lap of the race. Leading as infrequently as he has. Wasn't trying a wide arc there. Jeff Gordon just flat out drove underneath him. Johnson held the top again. It's only the second time he's been able to do that. Both times are when Gordon was underneath him. Jeff's going to clear him off turn 4. Johnson with a great crossover, though. Beautifully timed. Johnson leads that lap at the line. No official lead change that time around. And Johnson clears Gordon in 1 and 2. And now Kenseth looking to cut underneath the 48. He's almost there. Oh, he is there. Johnson cuts him off. He's loose off the high side again. Contact with Kenseth, and Gordon's back in the lead. Labonte to third. Kenseth still on the apron trying to get his speed back. Jimmy did a great job keeping it off the wall, but Kenseth was underneath him off turn 2. Johnson had to hold the high side. I don't know how Kenseth got underneath there. That was a heck of a run for him to get by Gordon and get to the inside of the 48, but Johnson got so loose, sideswiped, and Kenseth had the worst end of that. Got a golf membership meeting Sunday at 2. Yeah, I think next year I'm just going to get one closer to where I work. That way it's more convenient when I get off of work to play. The only problem is when I get off of work on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, leagues are probably going on. And at least at the one closer to my house, by the time I get out there, I can usually get 9 holes in after league. Because they're usually done at 5, but I get off at 4:30, so it times it out right by the time I get there by about a quarter after 5, 10 after 5, that it works itself out. If I went to any one of the few courses around where I work, I'd probably have to just wait in the clubhouse for like 15, 20 minutes. It kind of defeats the purpose anyway. And then on my days off, I'd have to drive further to get to the golf course if I wanted to play for free. That was really the only reason I decided to still take that membership at my home course. It's just so that way on my days off of work, I'd only have to drive 10 minutes instead of 35, 40. Oh, man, Johnson in the wall. Pounded it off of turn 4. Yeah, I don't ride a cart. I walk. I have like a push cart bag, or for my bag. The only time I ride in a cart if it's super, super hot outside in the summertime. But I mean, it has to be like, I've even walked at 90 degrees and played 18 holes. It usually doesn't bother me. Like, it's got to be like heat index over 100 for me to do that, which really in Northwest Ohio, we don't have too many days that are like that. Usually. We usually get like 1 or 2 weeks in the summertime where we'll have like consistent heat like that, but that's about it. usually July and August. Or if my dad's with me, usually I'll get a cart too, just because he gets in a cart. It just makes the play a little quicker. So less than 100 laps to go. The two Hendrick cars of Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon are pulling away. Johnson can't get back around Gordon. You may consider short pitting again. It didn't work as well as he thought it would earlier, but it did work to a certain extent. He was able to at least get through lap traffic better than Dale Jr., who he was battling with at the time. And made it work. I think last year I only did that a couple times too. I mean, granted, I golf like 5-6 times a week, so a couple times, out of the year really isn't that much. There was a couple times I did golf to beat out the rain. I think I only got caught in the rain once all last season. It was very, very lucky that was the case. Johnson's going to pit this time by 91 laps to go. So he's going to short pit on Jeff Gordon. Trying to extend the lead. 4 tires and fuel for the 48, no adjustments. I think there was a mistake. I wasn't paying attention. All right, there we go. Yeah, there was a mistake with the catch cam, man. I was looking at a little bit of delay on my laptop, so I was able to catch it off the delay. But the catch cam, man, got ran into from, I believe, the rear tire changer. So a little bit of contact, and that's the first errant pit stop that this 48 team has made all chase long. And that definitely cost them a lot of time as they are right in the middle of this pack. We got another bot in the chat I saw. Thanks for taking care of that. Is that happening with other YouTube channels here recently? Between last night and tonight, it's been happening on our channel. Johnson needs to get through these guys quick for these fresh tires to really pan out for him, considering Jeff Gordon's got nothing but clean air in front of him. Johnson gets by Vickers well, although that was his teammate. So he's probably going to be one of the easier cars to pass. Bots are taking over. AI is taking over. Yeah, I couldn't even play in the one rainstorm we had earlier this year. We planned on playing 18. We were only able to get 9 in. We had to wait it out because there's quite a bit of lightning. It was a pretty heavy thunderstorm that rolled through, and then it was pretty drenched afterwards, so we had to wait that out. We could have started the next 9, but we definitely wouldn't have finished it before dark. We probably could have gotten like maybe 4 or 5 holes at the most, and that would have been about it. Because there were still people out there, so it wasn't like we could like skip around and get it in. Ricky Rudd trying to block Jimmy Johnson. Johnson getting loose into 3. Rudd did not give him a lot of room. That was 4th position, though. Rudd is a lap down. Johnson a lap down after short pitting. Jeez, Jeff Burton squeezing Jimmy Johnson now off turn 2. And props to, oh my goodness. Johnson just about got turned by Elliott Sadler. And then in the process of clipping the grass after Sadler pinched him off, he drilled Elliott Sadler into the wall off turn 4. 4 cars gets around the 38. They're just making terrible blocks. Johnson's already there, and then they just kind of move down on top of him. Johnson's going to get these fresh tires worn out. It's definitely not helping him trying to make up ground on fresh tires. I'm trying to get back in rhythm again here. 82 laps to go that time by. Well, 81 to go considering he's still a lap down. So 81 laps left for Jeff Gordon. He's going to get more laps led in here. Benefit of short pitting is we know Johnson has led the most laps to this point. He hasn't clinched it yet. But he feels comfortable enough that he has. And Gordon already led laps before he was leading at the time anyway. Yeah, well, usually the problem is the ball being wet. That's what people tend to say anyway, that usually when the ball's wet is when it's more slippery than when your hands are wet. So if there's like any way you can keep the ball dry, then it's not as bad. Pass on Rusty Wallace and Casey Mears for Jimmy Johnson. Really loose into 3. Hangs on to it underneath Tony Stewart, passes him. Slide job off turn 4. Busch, Ryan Newman are there. Johnson going to go to the high side of 1 and 2. Not to pass him, but to set him up so he can get a run down the straightaway. He does get a run on Kurt Busch. He's going to go low. Busch trying to pinch off Johnson into 3. Johnson holds on to it. On the white line, makes the pass. Kurt's on the lead lap. So is Ryan Newman, we know. Johnson to the inside of Newman into 1. Clean pass on the 12. Johnson, I believe, is the first car lap down now. I don't think any of these other cars in front of him are 1 lap down. Clip the apron there. Deal Jr. quickly. Johnson did not get his way through turns 1 and 2 that well. He got into the back of Matt Kenseth off the exit of turn 2. That stunted his run. Oh, Labonte got loose. And then Johnson got into the side of him after he got loose. And now Labonte's in the wall on the front stretch. All sorts of things going wrong for Bobby Labonte. Remember, Kenseth threw a bad block battling for the lead with Jimmy Johnson earlier, which caused Stewart to stack up and bring out that accident involving Tony Stewart, Casey Kane, and Kevin Harvick earlier. Harvick's been involved in 2 cautions. I believe he's in 2nd place right now. I don't know how that's the case. Johnson tags the left rear corner panel of Kenseth now. Kenseth trying to get to the outside of Harvick. Almost got there. He's going to try it again in turns 1 and 2. Not going to work. Johnson undercuts the 17. Johnson clears Kenseth down the back straightaway. Once he gets around Harvick, he'll have some clean air to work with finally. And he definitely has not picked up as much time as what he wanted. Plus, he lost some time in the pits because of that slow pit stop. The mistake with the rear tire change running into the catch can man, and a little clip of the grass. Harvick was running Johnson down so low on the front stretch, and Johnson had to lift to keep the car steady that time. You're the slow version of Michael Vick. You left-handed? Harvick trying to side draft Johnson on that right rear corner panel into 3. Jimmy slides up the track, that awkward corner entry. Harvick trying to cut down with the crossover, couldn't quite get there. Johnson finally has him cleared. He's going to try to run down Gordon. Gordon's about to hit lap traffic too, so although Jimmy Johnson in 11th place would be in the free pass position if we saw another caution, who's to say Gordon isn't going to lap anybody else? Put them their first laps down, which would not put Johnson into the free pass position. I gotta say, for a 500-mile race, this one feels like it's going by pretty quick. I know we've had 3 cautions tonight, not too many for a 500-miler, especially considering the last 2 to 3 races where we've had a decent amount of yellows in those races. Then to have 3 tonight in a 500-mile race at Charlotte. Lefty most sports but bowling. Yeah, I'm alrighty. I can't do anything with my left hand. I can't throw a ball to save my life with my left hand. It's so uncoordinated. Yeah, Gordon's got some lap cars around him. Looks like there's about 4 or 5 cars right around him, and that is part of why Johnson's closed the gap so much. Fresher tires and heavy lap traffic in front of the 24. Well, Johnson had a lot of heavy lap traffic around him. If it wasn't for that bad pit stop, he wouldn't have had to pass as many of them. But here we are. Lou's hosting the Red Wings tonight, so you're going to rub it in my face if they win then? That way you mentioned that they were up 1-0. I don't think Gordon's cleared all these cars that were around. No, never mind, he has. He's driven away a little bit now. Hopefully Johnson could get around him just as quick as Gordon did. 5 cars. Paul Menard, Ricky Craven, Kyle Petty will be the first 3. We got green flag pit stops starting once more. Johnson already pit. Quickly gets around Menard and Sauter. Kyle Petty staying wide. Seth Taylor staying wide. The only car now in front of Jimmy Johnson would be Ricky Craven in the 32. He's going to get underneath him down the back straightaway. Craven going low. I think he might want to pit this time. I'm not entirely sure. That was as easy as Johnson could have passed all 5 of those guys. Craven is pitting. Johnson cleared him well before getting into turn 3. When will Gordon pit? Gordon's coming in this time. 60 to go for him. Johnson back on the lead lap if we get a yellow. Harvick is now the leader. He's already led today. Maybe he's hoping for a caution. Johnson got the timely yellow earlier with a caution back at lap 70. That's why we've only had 10 or less cars on the lead lap ever since. So there was Gordon. Johnson easily cycles ahead of him as we imagined. Gordon's going to try to run him down with those fresher tires just like Dale Jr. did that second fuel run of the race earlier on today. 123 car pulls up right in front of Jimmy Johnson. Getting into 3 as he was trying to get up to speed still is Charlie Davis in the 123 car. Boy, Johnson slid big time off 4. He's still sideways. Lap car underneath him. He had to let him go before running into the side of him. Black Ace, welcome to the stream. Second lap in a row, Johnson's got loose off 4. This time he was underneath the 123. He's on the outside of him last time, though, so that's probably why he was maybe even more unstable. 22 car brought out the first caution of the day. Trying to pull up onto the racetrack now. Johnson to the inside of him. Andrew Hamilton. Johnson to the outside of the 198 car. Oh, up the middle, 3 wide. What a move by Jimmy Johnson. Splitting the lap traffic right up the gut. He hasn't been able to run on the high side of anybody hardly at all today. And he just went right up the middle in the middle of 1 and 2 to pass 2 lap cars. Made it look clean. Harvick was the last driver to pit. He is in the pits right now. Just going to cycle Johnson back to the lead. That was definitely ballsy by Jimmy Johnson. He's trying to make the most and get through this lap traffic as quickly as he can. And now he's the one on the older tires compared to the leaders trying to run him down. Yeah, I see that other bot in there. Why are they real names, too? Anybody else notice that? I mean, there's a lot of you guys use your real names for your... I use my real name for my channel name, but not, like, all the bots are real names. Well, I guess maybe they're not real names because they're bots, but you guys get the point. They look like they're real names. Johnson had about a 3.8 second lead. It was about a 1/10 of a second more than what he had after short pitting earlier in the race. And that was even with the mistake. He definitely maybe got through the traffic a little bit better that time. I think Gordon struggling in the lap traffic kind of evened the playing field because Johnson did struggle immediately at least. Not as much recently. Going 3 wide up the middle to make that pass quickly. No, they're not always female names. There was a Ron guy last night. They're female and male names. But they're all, like, realistic names, though. The bots die with me. That got dark. Got 50 laps to go this time by for Jimmy Johnson. He has lost about 3/10 of a second each of the last 2 laps to second place. Might not have been the wise decision for Johnson on the long run. Almost 2/10 of a second slower that last lap. Leads down to 3.5 seconds. He's got clean air in front of him. Lap cars aren't racing him hard at all. Yeah, definitely report it. Report it and remove him. Oh, no. Johnson did not see the 144 there. Great save by both cars. Jason Kennedy in the 144, by the way. Well, that costed Johnson a lot of time that last lap. Now the lead's down to 2.2. Kennedy must have had a good run off of turn 4 when he got underneath Johnson into 1. Jimmy had no clue he was there. He knew he was in his rear view, but he didn't know he was underneath him, getting into the corner like he was. Not being the live stream tomorrow very long. That's all right. We were originally supposed to do a premiere at Kansas tomorrow night. That will be on Saturday night. We're going to flip-flop dates again. I was not able to get all of the Kansas race recorded. I did record some of it today. I have to finish recording it tomorrow when I get off of work before I stream, or after the stream tomorrow night. Either way, I'm not going to be able to finish the recording tonight. Therefore, I'm not going to be able to edit it at all left tonight. So I'm shooting for Saturday. So next race of the NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005 season will be tomorrow night at Martinsville, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I believe it is the Subway 500. I think Subway was the title sponsor in 2004 for the fall Martinsville race. But either way, Martinsville will be the next race. That was a wild race earlier this season. I had 12 cautions. I think, if I remember correctly, that was the most cautions we have had in a single race this season. At Watkins Glen, we had like 8 or 9 also. But we had 12 cautions in the first Martinsville race earlier this year. So that is the record as far as this season goes. Got to be up 4 a.m. Saturday. Oh, yeah, you got your trip coming up. Hopefully you enjoy. I don't blame you for going to bed early tomorrow. Johnson getting a bit wiggly off 4. It leads down to 0.8 of a second now. Well, that's not going to help either. He's got the wall getting into 1. And Martin's going to get underneath him. So that's Jeff Gordon in second place. It's amazing how quick that 3.8 second lead went away. All in the span of about 12 to 14 laps. It's down to 0.3 of a second. Really only 2 mistakes by Johnson. Gordon was gaining 2 to 0.3 of a second a lap, though. Even outside of the mistakes, he was going to get there eventually. Martin just passed Jason Kennedy in the 144. Jimmy's going to try to hold on as much as he can. 41 laps to go at the line. Johnson just clinched the most laps led that time by at the start-finish line, so that'll be a 10 bonus point night for him no matter what happens. And here comes Gordon to the bottom. Gordon has a run. Johnson with a big block down the back straightaway to hold on to the lead. He knew he was cleared. Gordon going to try the outside. He's fast enough to pass up there, too, so Johnson's just got to try to hold Gordon off any lane possible at this point. You prefer him to try to pass him on the outside. He's going to try to hit his marks down low. I would not be surprised if he passed him. Johnson's got dirty air in front of him, though, too. Which kind of so does Gordon with Johnson there, but that makes it equal in that aspect and actually makes it worse for Johnson because he's got older tires than Gordon. 144 and the 6 are in front of him, not really pulling away. 39 to go, only a quarter tank of gas left for Johnson. Yeah, I'd imagine you probably won't get good reception on a cruise. That's all right. You enjoy yourself. Kind of like with Dale Jr. earlier. Johnson's able to hold him off for now. Oh my goodness. Didn't realize Gordon was almost there. Johnson held him off down the back straightaway, but not in 3 and 4. Johnson barely holds on to the outside. Only about the third time today he's been able to hold on to the outside with the car underneath him, and Gordon flies by to take the lead. Johnson charges hard in 1 and 2, and all he did was slip up the track. It's just not fast enough. His 2 lap cars may get Gordon's way. Johnson going to try to cross him over into 3. He's not wasting time. Gordon got picked behind the lap car. Gordon got picked behind the lap cars who stayed wide to try and get out of the leader's ways, and that is going to allow Johnson back to the lead again. He's already clinched the most laps led. He's just hoping for a caution. He makes contact with Mark Martin into turn 1, and Martin's in the wall. Johnson somehow holds on to the lead still. Barely holding clear of Jeff Gordon. Oh, well, now he's in the wall off too. Never mind. Gordon's back in the lead. That was short-lived. Never had the Thunder Series in the past. You definitely need to get him. Definitely need to get him. Cars One Boy, welcome to the stream. Johnson trying to keep up with Gordon. See if he can trap him behind Riggs. Well, he might just do that. It looks like he will. Gordon trying to pinch Jimmy Johnson. I don't know if Johnson's quick enough, though, to complete the pass. Yes, he will. Using Scott Riggs, the rookie lap car, as a pick. Johnson back to the lead again with 33 to go on Jeff Gordon. Johnson again with the older tires just trying to hang on. Now there's clean air in front of the 48 car, so maybe he can hit his marks. But he may be hoping for another caution anyway to have this all cycle back through. Johnson just can't get the car down to the bottom, and here comes Gordon. Gordon clear. Riggs almost got down underneath of the 48 of Johnson as well. Couldn't do it, though. Well, Jeff Gordon leads. Johnson's pushing hard. Doing all he can to stay with him. He's only got an eighth of a tank left to fuel. 30 laps to go this time by. Definitely won't make it. Maybe some of these other drivers still have to pit to the end, but most of them pit with about 60 or less laps to go. They should be able to make it. Between 54 and 60 to go, they were pitting. Johnson way up the track. Turns 3 and 4. Multiple tires in the yellow, not helping the handling right now. This older, worn-out surface at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. Johnson's in the wall now in turns 1 and 2. lost a little bit of time to Gordon. .28 to go. Another lap car coming up. Robbie Gordon in the 31 will be that next lapper. That's a little wiggly off turn 4. He's driving hard, he is pushing hard, and he wants to be able to get to this 24 car of Jeff Gordon quick enough to be able to try to get the car to rotate to the bottom before Gordon gets to Gordon, essentially. Where Jeff gets to Robbie. Big run down the back for Johnson, but Gordon's going to be able to pull down in front of the 48. Oh, contact between Robbie and Jimmy off of turn 4. And Johnson's still hoping for a caution. I don't know if he's going to get it. We've only had 3 of them total. Last time Johnson waited it out this long, though, he did get a caution back at lap 70. It was a much different circumstance, though, this time around. Johnson going to stay out one more lap. He's going to pit at lap 311. It's going to give him 22 laps to go when he makes his way off the pit lane. Quite going to beat Gordon to the inside into 3. Doesn't matter anyway. Johnson's pitting this time. Doesn't want to risk running it out of fuel. So Johnson will pit. No tires. He's going to try to stay on the lead lap. No tires. 1 can of fuel only. Half a tank. That'll be enough to get to the end. I don't know why they're adding wedge, but all in the hopes of trying to keep Jimmy Johnson on the lead lap. 10-second stop. No mistakes that time around. And here comes Gordon. Johnson's going to pull up right in front of him. That would have been a blend line violation, but Johnson's trying to stay on the lead lap and give himself a shot if we get another caution. Blocking Gordon as he gets up to speed. I don't think it's any hope. Gordon taking a peek to the inside. Jimmy gets loose. The car underneath him blocks Gordon. At the start-finish line, 20 to go for Gordon. Well, by taking fuel only, it at least was able to stay in a decent position. It's in the top 10. And again, he's the last car in the lead lap, just trying to fend off the 24 car again. Gordon probably doesn't want to race Johnson too hard here. He knows Johnson's going to race him hard, even though they're teammates. Both competing for a championship. Gordon 95 points back. If he wins this race and Johnson finishes in 10th, that points gap between the two of them is going to be cut even closer. Which is crazy because Jimmy Johnson, even if he finishes 10th place, he is going to finish in the top 10 in each of the first 5 playoff races, the first 5 chase races. And still may lose the points lead to Gordon. If not lose it, it's going to be very close. Johnson did lead the most laps today, so that was the only good thing that came out of his strategy was he was able to clinch the most laps led. The problem is he was a little short on fuel. I don't know if that was a great enough sacrifice. Unless we get, a timely caution here late. Well, that was a pass for position. Johnson just got around Joe Nemechek for 9th. It's a few more points. On older tires, he's at least a little bit quicker than Joe Nemechek. Good run for the 0-1. Oh, we got one car blowing an engine on the inside of the track. It's Michael Waltrip. So Michael Waltrip has blown an engine, but we do stay green. He was a lap down already, so that was not another position for Jimmy Johnson. But as we get closer to the end of the 500-mile race, and these longer races, especially on these faster tracks, mile and a half and bigger, it becomes a little more common back in this era of NASCAR and prior. Have these kinds of engine failures. I wonder if Johnson can catch anybody else on speed. Try to get as many positions back as possible. Just like Talladega, just played the fuel strategy wrong. Oh, jeez. Talladega could have been prevented. Should have just pitted a lap sooner. We would have been all right. This one was a little different. So wiggling into the wall off 4. A lot to ask on these tires, though. He's going to have to go about 90 laps total. On all 4 of these tires he's got on the car, even if it stays green to the end. Let's see if he can do it. Car's definitely moving around on him quite a bit. Pack of cars up the way. Johnson going up the way. Almost getting into the wall. Do I have a dream car? If I did, it would probably be a Mustang, honestly. I'd like to get a newer one for my next car. I don't plan on getting a car for at least another year yet. This one's fine for right now. I'd probably wait until, not this coming spring and summer, but the following spring, summer is ideally when I'd probably upgrade. I don't know what year I'd get, though. I'm not going to get, really brand new with it, but definitely more dated than 2004 right now. Got about 130,000 miles on it, and it's not... Again, no, like I kind of mentioned, it's not too beat up, but it's, I could tell it's, replacing that front end last summer, that it's definitely getting to the point where I'm only going to have maybe another year or two at the most left on it before it just starts nickel and diming me. And I don't want that to be my everyday car when it gets to that point. Maybe a work car, and that'll be about it at that point. Soft 05, welcome to the stream. More lap cars up here. I don't believe any of them are on the lead lap. Johnny Sauter, Ricky Craven, Kyle Petty, Johnson to the inside, going 3 wide. On these older tires into one. I don't know if this is going to work. Well, I guess it worked. Oh my goodness, Johnson's all over the place. Oh my gosh. 3 wide into 3 again as they just tried to get out of Johnson's way. He was all over the place on his own with these old tires. Wants there to be a caution, but he doesn't want a DNF with a hard, vicious accident. So close to the end of this one. Always thought you'd want to land with. Nah. Overrated. Put a comment on NASCAR that I'm a good commentator. Well, thanks. What, like on their YouTube channel or something? Appreciate it. See if Johnson can catch any more cars. Problem is, we're late enough in the race now. We get a caution. The race is probably going to end. No cautions come out on the final lap. Sterling Marlin may be for position. I don't believe Brendan Gaughan is. Marlin may be for position. There's another car in front of these two Dodges, and maybe that could be for position as well. Can't tell who it is. It looks like Paul Menard is the next car. 4 laps to go for Jeff Gordon at the start-finish line. That time, right front down into the red now for Johnson. It almost put him in the wall. It was right as Jimmy was getting into turn 1. Or just shot way up the racetrack. He's going to get around Marlin. Not for position. Going to the inside of the 33 now. Johnson's just got to sit behind him for the moment. 3 to go for Jeff Gordon to get the Charlotte sweep this season. Right front tire should make it for Jimmy Johnson. But boy, 90 laps to the end. On all 4 tires that are on his race car right now is quite a ways. Going fuel only on that last stop. Just hanging on for dear life. The handling of this race car. Once he gets around the 77 of Brendan Gaughan, it should be smooth sailing after that. Again, Gaughan not for position. 2 laps to go for Jeff Gordon. We get to the final lap. If we did see a crash, again, no cautions come out in the final lap in this game. Johnson's clear. He's not going to catch anybody else for position unless somebody drops a cylinder here in the last lap and a half. Johnson, last car in the lead lap. Jeff Gordon did get around Nemechek a little while ago. Johnson didn't get the caution he needed. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go for Jeff Gordon. And this may put him to second in the point standings with this win. He was 95 back in 3rd. And Johnson, the points leader, at least he was able to lead the most laps today. A 9th place finish, even though it's a good top 10. And he had a solid car, solid run. Definitely had a car that could have competed for the win. I'd say top 3 car. At times, Junior looked the fastest. At times, Gordon looked the fastest. And at the end, it's Jeff Gordon who's going to get the win. Checkered flag waves. Gordon wins at Charlotte. And Johnson just going to have to run it out to the finish. Last car in the lead lap in 9th. Had that timely caution early in the race, but he didn't get one late. Couldn't be lucky 2 times in a row. He'll take a 9th place finish. He may hold on to the points lead, but it is a lot slimmer than what it was coming in, and we only got 5 races left. 6-second victory was the margin of victory, at least for Jeff Gordon, over 2nd place Kevin Harvick. 3rd place was Matt Kenseth. Kurt Busch finishes 4th. Tony Stewart rounds out the top 5. Dale Jr. 6th. Bobby Labonte 7th. Casey Kane 9th. Casey Kane 8th. Jimmy Johnson 9th. Jeff Burton rounds out the top 10. The top 9 were the only 9 not only on the lead lap, but all 9 of them were chase drivers. I'm telling you guys, this has got to be the most competitive playoff/chase we've ever had on the channel in any game. Gordon leads 85 laps to his win. Again, at times it looked like he had the fastest car, obviously leading 85 laps. He had a really good car. Might have had the best car at the end. Johnson's having a hard time trying to hold him off. I know he had about 20 lap older tires, but he was still having a hard time trying to keep up with him even after the fact, too. Kevin Harvick leading 13 laps to finish 2nd. Kenseth led 24. Dale Jr. led 56. Forgot how much he led early. And again, Johnson led the most. He led 103 in 9th, so he only led 18 more laps than Gordon did. This 333-lap race. The other chase drivers to finish outside the top 10 would have included... Well, it would have only been one driver, because the top 9, there's only 10 chase drivers. So only one driver from the chase did not finish in the top 10, and that would have been Ryan Newman, who led 30 laps today, but he had blown an engine. Elliott Sadler blew another engine. When did that happen? We missed Elliott Sadler blowing an engine in the last, 20 laps of the race. It was probably about when we pitted. It's probably why we didn't see it. It was only a lap before Walter blew an engine. I remember seeing Walter blowing an engine. Poor Elliott Sadler. I don't know how many that makes because we took that long month break in the season. I'm going to have to go back and look at the race results and see how many races Elliott Sadler's DNF did late. But Sadler blew an engine. He was so close to the end of this one. He had 17 laps to go and he blew an engine. He led laps early in the race. I do remember that. Qualified really well. But a lot of drivers failed to finish. Walker had a DNF. Michael Waltrip, Elliott Sadler. We mentioned Ryan Newman, the only chase driver to blow an engine. That's the second blown engine that Ryan Newman has had in the chase. And he might be the first driver that is going to slowly kind of fade out of championship contention now with that second DNF in the chase. Derek Cope, unfortunately, DNF'd at lap 233. Well, that's a bummer for Derek Cope. He was as high as 8th in the first 26 laps. He ended up falling about 2 laps down at one point. I remember lapping him the second time when we were leading, but unfortunately for Derek Cope, he could not make it to the end to sustain that speed over the long haul. Jeff Green, Ward Burton, Dale Jarrett also DNF'd. So we had eight drivers failed to finish total. That's quite a few, but that's about normal for the 500-plus mile races with these older games. A lot more engine failures for the full races especially. It was tough. It was tough to make an engine go fast and last that long. And with the finish of this one, that's going to take us to Martinsville for the Subway 500 tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 5 races to go to crowning a 2004 champion for the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series. Even with top 10 finishes, Jimmy Johnson loses points. We finished 10th at Talladega. We lost points. We lost like 20 points. Today we finished 9th. I think we lost more than 20 points of our lead. And we have to finish top 5. Think about this. So Jeff Gordon finished 2nd when we won and led the most laps at Kansas. Max points day. Jeff Gordon finishes second. We only gained 15 points on him. And then tonight he goes on to win and lead 85 laps. Gordon in his drive for 5, while we're in the chase for 8 with Johnson. Jimmy still got the points lead, but Gordon goes from 95 back to 58 back, and he moves from 3rd to 2nd. Dale Jr. drops from 2nd to 3rd. He's 82 back. Kevin Harvick closes as well. Harvick came into the day 4th in points. He's still 4th. He was 124 back. He's now only 97 back, so it's down to double digits. And then Casey Kane lost 1 point today despite finishing 1 position ahead of Jimmy Johnson. It's because Casey Kane didn't lead any laps and Johnson ended up leading the most. Casey Kane did lead a lap at least. So he got 5 bonus points, but Johnson had 10. So that's why Jimmy Johnson outscored him by 1 point. Matt Kenseth, he gains as well. He was 194 back. Now he's 172. Tony Stewart's still 219 back. He only gained 7 points today with the top 10. Kurt Busch had a top 5. He finished 4th. He gains 12 points. Bobby Labonte loses 2 points but gains 1 position. And then Ryan Newman has lost 2 spots. Kurt Busch would have gained a spot as well. So Newman, 335 back after his second DNF in the chase. Unfortunate. That's Jeff Gordon's first win of the chase. We've now had 4 different chase drivers win the first 5. Johnson with 2. It's the reason why he's ahead right now. And let me see how many wins that is for Gordon this season. I've been keeping track. That is Jeff Gordon's 5th win of the year. So 18 wins for Hendrick Motorsports, 13 for Jimmy Johnson, 5 for Jeff Gordon. That's not even counting the All-Star race and one of the dual races that Jimmy Johnson won. What a season for Hendrick Motorsports. All right. That's going to wrap it up. I'll see you guys tomorrow night at Martinsville. We're flip-flopping dates between that NASCAR 21 Ignition. Hopefully I can get everything recorded and edited by the time Saturday night rolls around so we can end up running the premiere later on Saturday night for the NASCAR 21 Ignition Career Mode at Kansas. So that will be premiered. But tomorrow night, we'll be live streaming back here on the channel at 6. Thanks, everybody. Have a good rest of your night. And hopefully we can get our weekend kicked off. What a points battle this is. Top 5. Top 5 within 132 points. Still the top 4 within 97 points. All within 1 race worth. It's gonna be an epic finish. Maybe one of the better championship battles we've ever had on the channel. Good night, everybody.